back for a game 3. Oh
Wow.
my gosh, this is exciting. Our very first
It
playoff
is.
series, we're going to a game 3. We had a bloody game 1. Game 2, game 2 a little bit safer played out of the side of Literal Team Name. They had a huge kill lead. They limited their deaths. What are you hoping to see out of this game 3? What do you think each team needs to do to capitalize on their strengths from the first 2 games?
I think literally Team Name's draft strategy has been pretty on point. They came in with a plan and they knew what they were going to do. They picked the same 3 champions the first round of the draft, and I think the Echo wasn't a great choice game 1, but they picked a better mid laner game 2. And otherwise, like their draft game 2 and game 1 were very similar, and they knew what they wanted to do. And game 1, they had moments where they did really well, but closed it out. They ran back the same type of comp. Game 2, they pulled it off very well. So I like that they kind of know what they need to do already. Versus the other side, Heroes of the Storm had a pretty good game 1 and decided to just throw it away, even though they saw the same champions on the other side. Um, with the Caitlyn, which by itself is not a bad pick, but changing up from the Jin, who had a great game 1, and then the Trundle, I think, was a huge part of their game 1 win, and they could have easily picked it, and throwing that away for the Ivern was very questionable. So I don't know. I think I'm looking for literally Team Name to just realize that they were trying to be a little bit too out of the box, maybe, for and just like go back to more of like a standard, uh, more standard picks, and have another something else they know that they can contest the team fighting, which is obviously what literally Team Name wants to do. And game 1, they were able to kind of match the team fight. Game 2, they so I think if they try to pick more towards that, like they did in game 1, I think that is definitely where they need to be to look to move forward.
Yeah, I agree. Literal Team Name just basically building off of game 1 um, with it. Yeah, so we are in pick ban. Let's see if teams are switching things up based on their switching of sides. The only thing I'm seeing is the set ban coming through from Literal Team Name. They want to deny it from Heroes of the Storm, thinking that set is just a very, very, very strong pick coming out on the blue side. So,
yeah, so that change leaves the Nautilus, which by far, uh, no, not November's most played champion. Obviously, it's in his name. They will take that for their comfort in the bot lane. It's going to be answered by Sivir Morgana
yep.
On the other side. So they this time decide to actually change up the draft and go away from the MF Leona, which worked really well the first 2 games. So we'll see
Yep.
what their change up does.
So knowing that they're going to be up against the Nautilus, they're going to just play a very, very safe comp here with the Sivir Morgana. The other ban that came through in both games but has not come through this game, I'm noticing, is the LeBlanc, which is a Tom Nook special. He plays it quite a bit in the mid lane. Maybe look for that to come through here, but perhaps blind picking the LeBlanc not the best idea. So
yeah,
we'll see
both times that was a ban in the second ban phase. So
all right, so we're getting word that it is Jin, not Renekton, coming through. So Heroes of the Storm going with the Master Yi. Which I'm being told is Rengar. Welcome to PMA LCS, where the picks are made up and the bans don't matter. So, so Jin and Rengar. Now Rengar being again a comfort champ for Aruyan. looking like people on Heroes of the Storm are playing things that they're comfortable with, that they know that they can win with. Master Fan going back onto the Jin, Aruyan trying out the Rengar for the first time in this series today, but a champion that he knows very well, uh, a lot more comfortable than the Ivern, I would assume.
Yeah, and I definitely like the Rise Band there from Here's the Game 2 versus the Echo in Game 1. So I think that is a very smart ban going into the second phase here.
And they're going to ban the LeBlanc away from literal Nate, taking 4 champions away from Nate. Just trying to not let this man carry another game against them. So we will see. I would expect a jungler to come out here. Oh no, it's going to be the Talon. So Heroes of the Storm is going to have the opportunity to pick that Talon. I don't know if Hoagie plays it, but something that can match the roaming of a Talon, something that can maybe hard shove the wave if Talon leaves. Looks like it's going to be the Malzahar.
Yeah, it is locked in. So, um, pretty a little bit risky there to blind pick the. I know that is another one of his really comfortable picks, and he thinks that coming off of his great game 2, he's feeling in the zone now, and he pulled that off. So warding, deep warding, keeping tab of the Talon here is going to be huge for Heroes of the Storm. Let's see what they round out their comp with.
Ooh.
And that is the Silas for Big Dioc Jimmy, assuming. Yeah, that should be for him.
I like this. I like this Silas pick into the comp that we're seeing from Literal Team Name already. Literal Team Name is building up this run at you comp, the Sivir, the Morgana, the Poppy stun, into the wall, the Talon with the flanks. Silas says, you know what? If that's the comp you want to run, I'm just going to take Sivir ult, and now we're going to sprint at you with the Nautilus ult and the Malzahar and the Jin and the Rengar. So it'll be interesting to see. Outside of that, the Silas, not a lot of great ults to steal. Maybe stealing Poppy ult around objectives, looking for, ulting a jungler, which Poppy jungle, by the way, ulting the Poppy out of the pit.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting team comps coming through from both teams with the side switch. Both teams opting to go with comps that are very different than what they ran in the first 2 games. So I'm excited. We're going to be seeing something relatively new here in Game 3. Um, based on the draft, Packer, what do you think? Who's got this?
Well, it's I definitely think Heroes of the Storm drafted better than they did in Game 2. Again, I do kind of like the Silas in the top. I don't know well enough to know like how that matches up specifically into Darius. But that is something that is going to be not the easiest for like a talent to. Think what I could offer. Obviously, Rengar himself is not in the best spot in solo queue, but we know how proficient Elliot is on this champion. I've seen him completely pop off on this champion multiple times, even lately, and when his win rate has been low. So, I don't know. I definitely think Heroes of the Storm kind of matched out this draft here. It, it's kind of hard because I feel like when you have something like a talent in the mid, he's so feast or famine. So he's gonna pop off and kill everybody, or he's so gonna be behind and not kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I agree. I think, like you said, getting the deep wards, tracking the talent is going to be extremely important. If you can avoid letting him take a lot off of roams, it kind of defeats the purpose of picking him. So
Right.
the Malzahar has the ability to push the wave while Talon is gone. Um, get the Voidlings out, get some turret damage. Uh,
I hope I'm not too loud, number one. I'm also going to point out that Malzahar was a really great pick into the Talon. Although Malzahar can get beat up pretty quick, if he gets suppressed, he just goes down.
yeah. Can we get a volume check in Twitch chat? How's Ganween sound for y'all?
Are you certain?
Oh, I mean, no one's complaining yet, so
Yeah.
I would assume it's okay. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how
sounds good.
early.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, how early the QSS tax comes into play. Because that can. I mean, obviously, when you have a Morgana who can spell shield, sometimes you have to be wary about that. But and even Sivir's own spell shield. But
Yeah,
that's
Sivir
going to
and
be key
Morgana have
there.
the shields. Um, I think it all depends on what sort of advantage Tom Nook gets on the Malzahar. Um, in game one, he wasn't as present, um, and that the Malzahar attacks didn't come through until very late in that game.
Yeah, yeah.
So if the same thing happens and they just don't feel that the Malzahar is much of a threat, that 1,300 gold is going to stay in their pockets and go to other items. Um, Objectives are going to be really huge this game. Last game we didn't see either of the heralds being taken, neither Shelly nor Herald, um, which was very interesting to me. I would look for one of these teams to maybe reflect on that. Hopefully they're aware of the fact that they kind of left um, this very gold heavy resource out on the map, especially the first one. I mean, you can get 3 plates off of just dropping a herald and letting it do one ram. You can get a full turret if you have a couple of plates down already on it. There's a lot of gold to be had from that objective. We did see literal team name prioritize Drakes very heavily in game two, and that was a huge part of their win condition. So I look for one of these teams to use their comp to go around objectives and control them. And in my eyes, I'm looking at literal team name as having a slightly better objective control team.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. I think it is going to be. I don't know, I'm looking forward to seeing these team fights again because the playing field is a little bit more even here.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I think I feel like Elliot here on his Rengar it possibly is going to be the difference maker. He talked about how you clearly want to see Sivir popping her ult and they want to start a fight running at people. So if Elliot is able to kind of get himself out of the way and in the shadows while their literally team name is trying to engage and start their fight off, um, and then his positioning and his ability to jump on Sivir or something like that when the rest of the team is trying to run forward is I think going to be very key in most fights.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know like Rengar can be really really scary if he's ahead, but also can be very very useless if he's behind. So I think that to me is probably the key to Heroes of the Storm's success
Yeah.
is how his early game and to mid game is going to go and seeing if he has to get his assassinations off or if not. I think it's going to be a hard game for Heroes of the Storm to pull off.
Question for you, and this is pretty important here. Is Aruyan just like really hard for you to pronounce, or
It it definitely was when I was trying to say it earlier. I think hearing you say it enough has helped me out, but it is easier for me to say Elliot.
Aruyan?
Eruyan. See, okay, so I
Aruyan.
can say it now. When the first game I
I
was
just
struggled
like how
so hard.
you're like Elliot. Yeah.
Aurelion was
We're bringing it
really
back.
hard
Yeah.
for some reason game 1, so I just like I haven't been back to it.
Just
I've heard you say it enough that I can internalize it, and now I think I can do it. But yeah.
Fun stuff. All right, well here we go. We're jumping into game. We'll see if there's any interesting thing with summoners and runes, but I think we're just gonna be seeing some standard stuff here coming out from both teams. Let's see. In chat we have OPTSM fan says, "Ooh, good," but Aruyan on Rengar, Mallet. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I am going to be back in a second. I am extremely thirsty. I need to get something.
Okay, so go for it. Checking out Skinnergies. Again, Malzahar on the base skin. We've got some TFT skins coming through, the Dark Cosmic Jin and the Star Guardian Poppy. Good on ya. Fleet Footwork coming through for the Rengar and the Jin. Same runes as game 1 for Master Fan. Not opting into the Dark Harvest Jin that you may be seeing in your solo duo queues. And everything else pretty standard. Oh. And as usual, we will do a PMA LCS 10.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Blah, 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 blah. Pause at 10. Alright, I am pause at 10.
Mine just started. Alright, I'm at 10.
Alright, so we will wait on stream. Give us the word, Mr. Producer Man.
Give us the word, Mr. Producer Man.
Alright, so we've got some pings coming out from Heroes of the Storm onto Literal Team Names Fountain. Looks like they're going to be running it down.
Okay, I like it.
GG's, sell all your items, and
It's a bold strategy.
good luck in the semifinals, yeah. I guess.
Right,
Nope.
so we are 5 pointing again, except Silas is a little...
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yep. Make sure we put our tabs in the right order. I see stream has already done it.
I did that.
I'm late. I'm late to the party. Right. A little bit of a non-traditional 5-point coming out from the team name. They're starting to move towards that buff a little bit early.
Minions have spawned.
Rengar opting to drop the ward and back for the Oracle Lens. This is a very, very common strat. If you are new to jungling, this is something that you should definitely try. Usually the ward, you can place it a little bit deeper, but if you're in your solo duo queues and people aren't coordinated, you will have the opportunity to ward a little bit deeper. But this is PMA LCS. The first thing that we pretty much all learn is how to 5 points. So ward dropped in the river, he backs, grabs the Oracle Lens, which will be very useful for that very first gank.
Very much so. That red buff had 69 health.
69.
Very nice. Alright, so one other thing I like about Malzahar here coming in from Tom Nook is even if it's not a great early laner, just the ability for him to push the wave anytime he notices talent is gone. Malzahar is really, really good at being able to shove those in when he pops his voidlings and he gets the malefic visions, I believe it's called, going from minion to minion, so he'll be able to apply a lot of pressure mid lane talent is roaming. So that's another good thing there. Meanwhile, we do see the hook and the deadly flourish here on the two. Flashes and Ignite coming out on the side of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm.
But literally Mike was able to flash to safety. So Summoner spell advantage a little bit on their side, but Mike is very low and he has to be very cautious now since he's now finally channeling his back.
Yeah, the level 2 the level 2
November goes in again. He's gonna eat a turn, and literally Stewart gets some mana back from the Deadly Flourish.
level 2 coming out earlier for Heroes of the Storm, and with a champ like Nautilus, you are able to engage on a pair of level 1s with literally Stewart and literally Mike, and as you said, the Summoner advantage going the way of Heroes of the Storm, except for the fact that Master Fan does flash forward to try and secure a second auto to get the kill, and it just doesn't come through. So
yeah.
Why isn't Tom Nook playing Pike since he is a capitalist? OPTSM fan says he should be playing Twisted Fate. Not sure if the summoner name, requires a champion pick there, but all valid points there. Tom Nook does love gold. Yeah, he loves his money, so. Ruyan taking the bot scuttle, as top scuttle was taken by literally Garrett. Jungler staying pretty even. Ruyan looking bot side, but the wave is just not in position for any sort of gank to come through.
Meanwhile, Mike still had not actually gone back. Playing very... He has started to regain some of his health back, but they have complete control and pressure in the bot side now.
Which
Elliot
I think is
down there trying to cheese gank from the bush. That's I would expect literally team name to maybe go back finally.
Yeah, I think it's the right move from Mike to stay. You want to make sure you get that early XP and your health regen early on, especially if you have a pot or two, is pretty solid. He does stay. He's missing a little bit of XP just from the initial walking back behind the turret when the engage came through. But a lot better than taking a back there and coming back to the lane still one.
Okay. So we have actually an early Tiamat Nate rated Dirk. So it looks like he wants to get good shoves on the waves going. Maybe that enables if he can shove the wave with the Tiamat. Meanwhile, actually topside, Big Jack Jimmy losing a lot of health there to literally Commish, who now does have level 6, so he has to be very careful.
Yeah, and Big Diok Jimmy just not having the mana to do much for sustaining in that lane. Taking a back here and teleporting back to turret is really your optimal play. Now, literally, Commish is going to back, and with the waves the way they are, he'll be walk back to lane, giving that teleport advantage over to the side of literal team name.
Okay, so we do see a teleport here coming in because Talon there coming up, and the kill actually, I didn't exactly notice how that happened, but No Not November went down to the Ignite maybe from literally Nate. So
yeah, a lot of burst damage coming through on No Not November. The Ignite comes through. Unfortunately for No Not November, he flashes away while ignited, and the kill still comes through. We're gonna pause at 6:45 so stream can catch back up. Yeah, No Not November doing the classic error, flashing away while ignited. The Ignite is gonna tick through. It's try to have the Ignite damage number just in your head. If it looks like you're going to go down anyway, try to preserve your flash there. Also interesting that Malzahar teleports to answer the Talon Roam. And going 6:45. Malzahar teleporting down to bot lane to answer the Talon run. I guess that's one way to do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Literal team name takes the first blood, and they also take the first Infernal Drake.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of the time you want Malzahar there to just push the wave in, maybe Liquid Turret.
Yeah.
Especially, I didn't know exactly where the Rengar was. So if you know Rengar's not in position to let that go, maybe Rengar was down there, so he thought they could time it with 4 people. I don't remember exactly where he was, but
in hindsight, we can say it'd probably be better if go, but it was a good teleport and ult onto the Talon. With a little bit more burst damage, I think they get literally Nate there, but it was just a little bit too late. With the kill coming November.
Also,
Onto no, not November.
Literally Garrett there following up. I don't know the Poppy's pushback, heroic charge maybe. Actually canceled the Malzahar ult early by knocking him backwards. So the channel there ended on me. So that was good heads up from him.
Yep. So a little bit of gold advantage coming through for literal team name. Decent farm advantage in the top lane with literally Kamish. Oh, we got a nice pause coming through. Literally Kamish still having that teleport advantage at the moment. So
Yep.
and we're into a pause. So itemization looking pretty standard. Like you said, Talon back to lane with Tiamat over the Serrated Dirk, looking to just push that lane and then leave lane. And we saw the direct effects of it right away there with First Blood. Malzahar finishing that lost chapter, picking up a second Doran's Ring. Silas finishing the Seeker's Arm Guard early, just trying to keep a little bit of armor up for the damage coming out of that Darius, who is pretty fed already in farm over the Silas, finishing the Phage.
Yeah.
PMA playoffs equals pause in every game, says literally
Absolutely.
Garrett. Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
Our ADCs matching itemization with BF swords and Doran blades. Jin with a little bit of an advantage, just picking up those boots of speed. But not anything consequential for the laning phase there.
Yeah. The move speed can be something that can help him on a binding. Can be there in the lane.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah. All right, and here we go back into match. Yeah, and Morgana commencing stopwatch about 3/4 of the way done. So we'll be seeing that come through in the next minute and a half. So looking for those spicy Morgana ults into stopwatch. Looks like we got some action in the bot lane.
Yeah, we have the Ignite ticking down on the Master Fan not able to kill him because of the exhaust, actually. He has like 10 health maybe. Good spell shield there from Sivir. And a very good exhaust to save Mike's. I think about that.
Yeah, just kind of a repeat of the level 2 play. Poor Mike is the receiver of all the damage and the knot hook, and retreats back to base this time instead of sticking around.
Okay, so now Talon is on the move again. He's down. It looks like he is heading back towards the mid lane. And Rengar is clearing the pink board here.
Yep, Rengar opting for the Tiamat start over a jungle item is pretty standard. Meanwhile, Poppy finishing the Bomby Cinder, looking to go Cinder Hulk on her next back. Oh, we have a fight in top river.
Oh, yep. The suppression is coming down. I think I'm a little... The Talon ult doing a lot of damage. Literally Garrett flashing away and double kill for literally Nate. I think I might be behind you in a few seconds.
I'm 10:24. I'll pause at 10:30.
I'm up 2 seconds.
Alright.
9:30.
Perfect. Yep.
I don't know how I got that. But anyway.
Yeah. So
disastrous. Now it's 3-0. Kill.
Disastrous for Heroes of the Storm.
For literally Nate.
Yeah.
Yep.
They fight. They choose to fight over the Rift Herald. Literally, Nate comes in, cleans up the 2 kills, and picks up the Rift Herald. Interesting to grab that over letting your jungler have it, as Poppy probably could have just carried it top and gotten first turret up there.
Right.
But like you said pregame, I mean, the Talon is kind of feast or famine, and right now is feast. So very, very dangerous out on the map, this Talon, which he's got the wave pushed, and off he goes. Gonna walk across a pink on his way to bot. Ping's coming out from Heroes of the Storm to tell their bot lane to back up.
He's down there. He's on the ward though.
Yeah, he did walk across that pink in the pixel bush. He's gonna go back up to clear it. He doesn't know. Oh nope, he's just leaving it.
Yep. That's literally Mike there being hit. The spell shield is not in time. The Nautilus ult actually does a lot of from literally commissions in, flashes forward for the Q and the pullback. He's gonna get 1. It's a 1-for-1 there.
And there's that teleport advantage that was started 5 minutes.
Master Fan is all by himself 1v4. He's gonna go down here. Literally Nate is on a rampage, literally life. Tom Nook, I don't know if you want to walk into this. Oh, the fail.
Oh, the fail flash. 12:25. Oh, wonderful.
We're gonna stream again.
Pause at 12:30. Alright, so first turret gonna go down in the bot lane to literal team. The teleport advantage making itself manifested just as Big Diak Jimmy's teleport coming back through.
Oh my gosh, flash there under the turret there for he wanted to kill the Rift Herald, but
oh yeah, he greeted for a hit on it. He has to flash back towards his turret, but literally Nate still has his flash, secures the kill. Team secures the Cloud Drake. We're gonna have an Ocean Drake coming onto the map. That is going to be disastrous if you can get Ocean Soul onto a champion like Darius.
Right. And it is now a 5,000 gold lead already at 13 minutes here for Little Team Name. Just absolutely with this early game Talon, and also 2 kills for Little Fish, just handling topside very well. So it is going to be, I feel like at this point it's going to be really hard for him to get back into this. They're going to have to really put it down and I think start moving around the map, just trying to find kills to pick up some more gold here, especially on the Rengar, because Rengar also needs to stack his Bone Tooth Necklace.
Yep.
Which he doesn't have any stacks of, so it's going to be really cool.
Definitely some item and level advantages for literal team name. Literally Kamish just going to take this turret down. He might just look to do the fight here.
Yeah.
They share each other's
just take his ult. Yeah.
They share the ult. Literally Kamish going to ult early.
Sorry,
But the bleed is going to come through and clear out Big Diak Jimmy. Aruyan comes in late trying to clean up Big Diak Jimmy's mess, but it becomes his mess as literally Kamish gets the double kill.
Yeah, that is, you can't go in on the Darius like that by yourself. Sorry, my game, literally in the middle of that, So, oh my god, and stream froze again too. So, this
Pausing at 1450.
I am way behind that still. I paused for a long time. Okay. Still got. Okay. 55, 56, 7, 59, 15.
Going.
Okay.
So another big fight coming out in the mid lane. Tom Nook and No Not November going down to the side of team name. There's just too much power in this Talon right now.
Yeah. Here we see in the top lane, Big Jack Jimmy takes a not very looking for damage. He does get back to his turret, but he's super low. He gets smashed. Garrett, who's gonna flash away. He probably didn't need to, but better be safe than sorry. I don't know why Big Jack Jimmy wanted that trade. I think he should have known that.
I think he still had Darius ult, while Darius at the time did not have ult. And he thought maybe he could turn it and get a shutdown, but
yeah.
But literally Kamish had friends there, and unfortunately for Big Jack Jimmy, he's under leveled, he's under itemed. He's got a Seeker's Arm Guard, he's got a Catalyst, he's got a Blasting Wand, he's just got components of all kinds of different items. So
I really feel like going for the Roa there second was not a good idea, because I mean it's 16 minutes into the game and you haven't even started being able to stack that yet, because you went for it second. Plus, getting down so much in CS because you're against a tough lane opponent. Like,
I think in this case he rushes Seeker's Arm Guard. I mean, you might just want to complete the Zonias at that point, especially with the Talon being so fed, the Darius being so fed. You can get that extra armor, you can get that utilization of the active on Zonias.
Rengar does use his ultimate here to maybe try to steal the Rift Herald, but looks like they are going to be able to wait it out. Curtain Call actually comes in. Elliot is not going to be able to assassinate into the zone, the Zonias, sorry. But the fight does come out, and the Rift Herald actually went down to Malzahar. And they did get the shutdown kill onto literally Kamish. That's another kill there. That's 2 kills actually for Big Jack Jimmy in the top lane.
Yeah. So a well played fight there, bringing out the curtain call. Ruyan jumps in. He does a lot of damage. He goes down. Malzahar comes in as well and does a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald's just smacking on Literal Team Name. Literal Mike actually gets executed by a Rift Herald cleave. And they pick up the Rift Herald. That's a well-placed fight. Unfortunately, the whole time you have literally Nate pushing bot, gets the tier 2 turret. Here he is in mid. Looks like he's going to try to take down Big Diak Jimmy.
Yeah.
But the healing from Silas is just a little bit too much.
Yeah, he's going to be a little tanky too with his armor and with the health coming in from Roa. So not the easiest to assassinate, but
literally Nate having to expel his flash
to get away from the
to
Nautilus
avoid the hook from the Nautilus. So yeah, dredge line, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I almost said depth charge, but that's his ult. So
yeah, literally team name is owning the vision here, and they do pull the Drake out. So we'll see if
Drake's still very healthy.
Is able to.
Oh no, not. Literally Garrett able to secure. Big fight coming through. Heroes of the Storm just trying to salvage something from this fight, but they are ace. A clean ace coming through from Literal Team. Just a disaster from Heroes of the Storm. I get it, you want to deny the Odin break. I don't think that that's the right time for that. You're under item, you're under leveled. We're looking at 2-level leads in some of these lanes. and it's not for soul.
Can you pause
Right, you
it?
can-
1930.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same.
okay, 32 is fine. I didn't
So-
realize how far back I was.
Yeah, you have the ability to let them have that Drake and just wait for your itemization, your levels to get maybe a little bit higher. You have that Eye of the Herald in your inventory. You
29,
can use that
30, 31, 32.
going. You can use that. You can
Yeah.
use that Eye of the Herald. It's both of you. I'm good. You can use that Eye of the Herald to get some.
Yeah, that's true.
You can use the Eye of the Herald, get some gold in your pocket before you try to take a big contest of an objective like that. But I think maybe the thought that, okay, well, we pushed them off of Rift Herald a few minutes ago, we can take this Drake. Unfortunately,
Oh, Elliot blind checking into the bed talon. He's gone.
it's not looking too great for Heroes of the Storm here.
Yeah. It is. I did again. Sorry. I was doing better. Anyway, it is a more than a. It's like 11,500 gold lead for literally team name here. Only 20 minutes into the game, going on 12,000 gold. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
We're gonna be seeing maybe another 24 minutes. Soul this game here was able to secure a couple of Drakes before literal team name got to the soul point. Eye of the Herald needs to be,
here in the mid
needs to
lane.
be dropped.
There we go. Big Dark Jimmy finally puts down the Eye Herald after he's
That was-
Morgana ultimate.
That was a 1 or 2 second cooldown left on that.
November here goes in on literally Stewart. He goes down, not quite yet. Big Dark Jimmy finally finishes him off. Meanwhile, Talon actually gets shut down in the backline by Rift Herald does some damage to the turret, but that's it. It's a 2-for-1. Oh, very beautiful dredge line there. Getting the Morgana. Literally, Garrett does get the stun into the wall, but Big Dark Jimmy now has literally Kamish chasing him down. He's gonna try to dash away. Oh, the suppression. Very good news there from Tom Nook. Does a lot of damage. He's silenced. The AIDS is burning him down. He gets the heal though from the Q. The silence though follows it up, but he's barely not able to kill him. Actually, the turret finished off Big DR Jimmy. That's a fight I think you like if you're Heroes of the Storm, considering how far behind you are. Any kills are good, so going
And
it was an even 3-for-3.
Yeah. You get the
4-for-3 maybe.
you get the shutdown from literally Nate onto a Ruyan, which that 1,000 gold is what you need to have if you are this far behind in the game. So the gold lead now cut in by about a couple thousand. So they're still 10,000 gold behind, but that's better than being 12,000 gold behind.
Yeah. I didn't see exactly how it happened, but literally Nate just kind of got instantly bursted there in the back. So
Yeah, he ulted and he ulted and went for the back line, and the burst damage just wasn't completely there. No, not November and Big Diak Jimmy just doing a great job frontlining, not letting literally Stewart or literally Mike get in, and without literally Kamish
by
there.
himself. He's gonna jump over the wall into Big Yak Jimmy, but he might not have had the cooldown to jump over that. Big Yak Jimmy, meanwhile, walking into them, he does get rooted by Morgana, and he gets pulled back. But the Nautilus ultimate is actually very good to delay the rest of that engage. Tom Nick taken very low, but he's alive. Here comes the curtain call. He's gonna try to finish off some people. Big here's literally Kamish, so he's in. He does a lot of damage. He has 1 kill. He doesn't quite get the reset on the ultimate, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the team is gone. Big Yak Jimmy is going to go down. Literally, Mike actually gets the kill there with the binding. A 4-for-1 throughout there into the Drake into the jungle as Dragon is spawning. So that's going to be sold here.
Poor Heroes of the Storm. They're just trying to set up vision. They don't want to give this soul over, but literal team name already set up really well. The Talon moving forward able to get out, giving Heroes of the Storm kind of a false sense of advantage there. Ooh, we got the Talon ult, the Talon flash out, but unfortunately the rest of the team there, this Poppy, this Darius, they're just too tanky right now for Heroes of the Storm to do anything to them in these team fights.
Yeah, and maybe there was just, hey, we got the Talon really low, we got his ultimate and his flash out, so they're feeling confident to move forward there into the fight. So now it is officially Ocean Soul going to be very big for them. It's going to be that much harder to kill them. Regen there. Even somebody like the Talon, who's squishy, susceptible to burst, will be a little bit harder to kill thanks to that now. So, and the gold lead back up to another 12,000.
Yeah.
Or literally team name.
Heroes of the Storm, looking to catch out literally Nate, but it's just too fast for them.
Yeah.
So just kind of positioning around Baron right now. Here's the Storm with 2 on the bot side. They have to answer to literally Kamish, but I don't think there's anyone on their team that can 1v1 him.
Yeah, definitely not at this point. Eruyan, they're using the ultimate, I think, just for vision. So they can kind of see where the rest of the team name was at. So at least that's better than them face checking their jungle and dying. And we see Eruyan actually curls all the way behind the Baron pit, but I think he was spotted by that pink. So I think they know he's behind him. He's backing him. He doesn't get killed.
Tom Nook in the bot lane responding to Darius. Darius just gonna walk up to mid inhib. Heroes of the Storm has to answer this. When they do, literal team name should look to just start the.
Yeah, looks like they're actually coming down here. They are clearing their wards. 26,
26, 22.
Before Tom Nook flashing away from the Darius. He pops the ultimate there. Oh wow, that was a very good one. But he still took a lot of damage. Meanwhile here, No Not November trying to be in there and be a tanky boy, but it's not gonna matter. He goes down, and so does Big Diak Jimmy and Eruyan. That is a 4-0. That's gonna have to be the game, you would imagine. Master be enough.
There's not a very large wave mid, so it looks like they're gonna rotate bot and try to take that in as well.
Yeah. That does give the rest of the team time to spawn, so they're probably taking down still. Ballooning their gold lead more and more as time goes on. They are now up by 15,000 gold almost.
Yeah, about 15k.
28 minutes in, so
double inhibs cracked.
Yeah. Should be an easy group at Baron, let the supers push into the base here.
Yeah. A lot of gold in their pockets. Literally Nate looking to spend about 2,500 gold. The rest of the members of literal team name with about 1,000 in their inventories right now, looking to convert those into items. Giant's belt coming through for Poppy, then being sold by Poppy. Oh, she's just gonna buy a full stone plate. So just gonna be super tanky, looking to soak up a lot of that damage.
I didn't even notice that she went Triforce second.
Oh yeah.
She has some combat abilities here too, not just tank.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of posturing around Baron here, but ultimately literal team name, they can just escort that wave topside towards the turret as supers are climbing into base from mid and bot.
All they have to do is just wait for the push in. They don't have to be too fast here. They can be patient.
They know the Rengar ult has been popped, they just don't know where he is. Ruyan way deep on the backside.
Tell that, like, based off of who has the vision, like if the person standing in the back has vision, then they do Rengar behind him. Because it only shows the closest person to him.
Nope.
So...
you have supers in the base. Start Baron right now.
Yep.
There you go.
And Rion is still behind. He was channeling his back, but
He doesn't have vision. He knows that they're on it.
yeah,
He's got the Scryer's Orb, so he knows that he's not spotted. All right, can we get a
Meanwhile,
juicy?
Nate
Can
is
we get
actually
a
just going to
juicy
solo out
steal?
on Master Fan.
Juicy
Goes
steal?
in. Oh,
Oh,
he's out maybe a half a second too late. That would actually
Yep.
been really close there. But now that's just going to be Big Jack Jimmy going down.
And that's going to be.
Ruyan and Master Fan are already dead. Literally, Kamish is already getting escorting minions in the bot side from his TP. I don't see the miracle here, but they are possible for Heroes of the Storm. Let's see what happens. The ultimate comes out and actually does do quite a bit of damage thanks to the turret shots onto the Kamish, and it popped.
The Sterax is going to pop. Talon's
USS
going to.
coming in there from Talon and Stewart, and literally Kamish make easy work of the rest of their members. And congratulations, our first official spring playoff victor is literally pushing on to the next round. Very good game 2 and game 3 to make it look not easy, but very confident moving forward here into the next round.
Yeah, very much so. Rough game 1 for them, where they played pretty great. You know, literally Stewart on the misfortune, kind of having a pop off with some really great ults. A very, very close game 1. They're probably beating themselves up for letting that one go, but they bounced back. Game 2 and game 3, very lopsided, very well played. Literal team name just capitalizing on objectives in both games. Mostly Drakes, taking early Drakes, snowballing their leads in lanes, especially mid. And so, speaking of mid, let's talk about our player of the series. For me, I gotta look at literally Nate. Game 2 and game 3, just popping off on the Rise and the Talon. A lot of damage on the Rise in game 2. Let's take a look at damage here in game 3. Not as much damage, but the positioning on the map, the presence, going down towards the bot lane for the first blood. I think in both of their wins and in their one loss, he played pretty well. Honorable mention, I think, for literally Stewart, playing really well in the Misfortune games 1 and 2, and then the Stiver here in game 3, and then literally Kamish playing very well as well. So, Packer, who do you have as your series MVP?
Yeah, it's I think if you're looking at the two games 2 and 3, um, it's kind of hard to ignore the job that Nate did there in the mid lane. Although I do think Kamish had Kamish had really good games. Literally Stewart again. Even though games 2 and 3 weren't as noticeable as game 1, he still had great jobs. Literally Garrett actually doing really well out of the jungle too. Maybe not having the most successful ganks all the time, but just really solid presence in the fights. And
So, straw poll being dropped in the chat. Vote for your MVP of the series. Who on literal team name takes the cake for you? Yeah, I think there's multiple people that played very, very well on both sides. Let's make sure that we give a lot of props to Heroes of the Storm. Master Fan playing very, very well in this series. Tom Nook doing his best in the mid lane. Big Diak Jimmy having some really, really, really strong moments in the top lane, punishing the Akali on Darius in game 2. So I think both teams playing very, very well. Literal team name just kind of snowballing their leads better in games 2 and 3 after a bloody game 1. So go ahead and make your vote in the series. Get our series MVP in for some questions from Twitch. Yeah, right now 5-1 for a few other people, but literally Nate taking the vote. We'll leave it open for about 30 more seconds. We have 23 people in stream right now, so if you haven't voted, if you're one of the 15 people that hasn't voted yet, go ahead, drop your vote. Who is your series MVP?
While we are giving that a little bit more time to finish up, I do, on behalf of myself and Nate and Stuart streaming, want to apologize for all the interruptions in the stream for all those games. I don't know what the issue was, but myself and
My guess is spaghetti coat.
Stuart, as the stream lord, kept, for some reason, the game kept pausing, like not really pausing, actually just completely freezing, and then we would be anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds behind, so we would have to be constantly pausing.
Yeah.
Not exactly our fault, I don't think, but still, we just want to apologize and thank everybody who still stayed through all the games despite the hiccups. Very appreciative.
Sure. Yep. All right. So literally, Nate is our series very played on the three champions, the Rise and the Talon, especially. We will get literally Nate in here for a few questions, and if you have any questions in Twitch chat, go ahead and drop them now. We will be happy to ask them once we get into player of the game chat. Super Hoagie says thanks for streaming and casting. Super Hoagie, thank you so much for being a part of this league and for constant positivity. I wish the series could have gone a little bit more in your favor, but very well played. GG's to you and your team. Heroes of the Storm, definitely a really tough team to play against this season from my perspective point of view. I don't think we were able to 2-0 them either of the times we played them. So
all right, I am here.
hello, series
Hello.
MVP, literally
Hello.
Nate.
That
Hello.
is me.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're good. We're good. We're having a great time. We are also joined by Tom Nook, captain
Excellent.
of Heroes of the
Hoagie. Gotta love it.
So, any questions from Twitch chat or questions from you, Packer, or you, Stu?
Go ahead.
I don't know.
No? Oh, okay.
Classic.
I was looking
Well-
at chat real fast to see if they had anything.
Why don't Nate? Why don't you go ahead and just talk us through your team's decisions in pick ban? Game 1 and 2, pretty much relatively the same comp. Why the decision to switch it up in game 3 with some different picks? Is it just the side of the map switch, or was there something else?
It definitely had to do with the side of the map. The big thing for us is in the past when we've played Heroes of the Storm, I feel like whenever we gave up set, we lost.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, first round we have the ability to first pick it, and we have 2 players who could play it both in the jungle and top lane. And so it's not like it's giving away too much information where they can just
Sure.
like hard counter it with something.
Yep.
While also making sure that we have an open ban in this case against Nautilus, which realistically is just a really good ban against Heroes of the Storm because it just makes it just hits the low pool of their support pretty hard. So
Sure.
so that's what we were thinking when we were on blue side. Red side, the reason why we banned the set is basically like, okay, if we ban Nautilus again, they just first pick set, and
Yeah.
then that just becomes a huge pressure point and an issue for us. So we just banned the set and adjusted our top lane pick a little bit to a similar role, but not quite with the Darius.
Sure. Great. And speaking of pick ban questions, I just have one for you, Hoagie. banning out the LeBlanc all 3 games, was there at any point in time was there a thought maybe to pick the LeBlanc for yourself, as I know that that's a champion that you play and that you've had success on in the past?
So my thought process for the going
Oh
into
God, you're
the
quiet.
series.
Go
All
on.
right.
Yeah, Stu will turn
Yeah.
you up. So
Oh, okay. So my thought process going into the entire series was to somehow make assassins pool other than LeBlanc. LeBlanc is too mobile regardless. But then I Talon totally slipped my mind for some reason.
mm,
But I was trying to get rid of a lot of
Mm.
mobility and wave clear, and
Mhm.
that was my response. And I was trying to, and if you have
So you're just trying to find better matchups for Malzahar, essentially.
not just Malzahar in general, but I was trying to find basically wave clear champions. If you've looked at my match history, I've only played wave clear champions
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
for the past day and a half. I played Morgana mid.
Mhm.
I played Malzahar, Nivea. That's literally all I've been playing
That makes sense.
going into the series because I know that you were looking to roam, and I was trying to my best of my ability. Um,
To prevent me from doing that type of thing. Got it.
yeah,
That makes sense.
okay.
which didn't
So
happen in the end, but try my best.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So any yeah can't hear Hoagie. I people in chat saying they can't
He's
hear
he's
Hoagie.
as loud he's as loud as he's gonna get.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Hoagie essentially saying that he is trying to play a lot of wave clear champs this week, and a lot of the bans were to get rid of champs from Nate's pool that would counter that. And with LeBlanc, even though LeBlanc being a comfort pick for Hoagie on Tom Nook was a respect ban to the side of literally Nate. So um, any other questions from chat or questions from casters?
Yeah, I got so this one. Both you guys can answer if you want, but game one obviously was a really long game and it was very back and forth. Not Nate, sorry, Neil even said during the cast, like the last several team fights were basically every other fight, every other team was winning. He would win one, but he would lose the next one for like the last 10, 15 minutes. And so when you have that big of a slugfest where you're just constantly back and forth, each team getting the upper hand, is it kind of hard for you to like reset after that going into game two, or is there like tools you have? Are you able to just like flush it out of your mind and go straight into a new game for game two, or is that hard at all for you guys to do that?
Well, I can quickly talk about like what we did. So in game, it was definitely interesting because I think our early game and mid game didn't go the way we wanted it to, especially on the Echo pick, because the Echo pick was our backline access that game, and I just was not able to get where I wanted to be and make the plays that I needed to make in order for us to win some of those fights more handedly. And either way, what we ended up doing is we just kind of like talked about, okay, fight to fight, we were just like, when we lost one, we're like, okay, just quickly, what do we need to do to win the next one, right? And then moved on, and then started talking about what's the next play coming up, and start looking at the map and realizing what we need to do next here. And then that's what I think led to a couple of like the one fights that we had, especially with like that Misfortune Pentakill. But
Shout out to
other than,
Misfortune
other than
Tentacle.
that, like going into game two, we just kind of like honestly we sat down, we started talking, and we started talking about how like, okay, maybe we need to change our comp, right? And I immediately stopped that. I was like, okay guys, we don't need to change our comp, like other than maybe the echo pick, because I was like, I don't like this echo pick. I was like, our comp was fine, we just misexecuted. We didn't play the way we needed to. Just play better next game. And we
Yes, we
basically
did.
ran it back with a different mid laner and just executed better. So
All right, yeah, makes sense.
Oh wait, so I was
Um,
supposed to answer this question too, right?
yeah, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So what I
Can
was
is there any
thinking?
way you can turn your mic up?
I can try. Let's see what. Let me do this.
yeah, normally you're louder than this, Hoagie. Is it something different? Like, are you talking or something?
How about this?
Ah, that's amazing,
That's
my
better.
man's.
Can people hear me now?
Oh yeah.
I I think chat will be able to hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. Super.
Super
So,
hoagie.
no, I'm Tom Nook now.
Oh,
Remember to pay off your loans, everybody. Um,
It's Animal
it's an
Crossing.
Animal Crossing thing.
uh, anyways, so what I was thinking was, well, the first game kind of just was like a little messy, but it was just like, okay, so we could, uh, but it kind of worked in terms of stalling the game. So like, Malzahar wave clear, just wave
Okay.
clear with the E and the voidling, and then ult when I need to.
Hmm.
So I think since the Malzahar was banned, I kind of just Anivia was my other backup just in case, so that because I still have that wave clear with the glacial storm, but it just wasn't enough. Um, but um,
Did you like the zoom rise?
I did like I that was
Dude,
terrifying.
that TP when I TP'd in and just fucking ran at you guys like it
That was
was
just a
fucking
basically a race car. That was basically a
hilarious.
race car.
I literally just ran and then I just see like fucking Master Van just immediately flash. He's like, fuck this shit. That was so funny.
Anyways,
All right.
Sorry, my bad.
but
Well, if oh sorry, go ahead, Hoagie.
no, but I wasn't I but yeah, I was just gonna say no. It's okay. You go.
I, if I can say one last thing before we sign
Sure.
off.
Yeah.
Words of warning to our next opponents. We have won one to every single person in this league. Doesn't mean we've done it every single time, but we've won one every single person in this league. Okay, and you know what that means? It means we can take it to game three, and then you saw what happened in game three, and we're coming for you all.
Since it is very likely to be my team that you're up against, it's very
Next,
possible.
okay,
It's either gonna be
ready.
you or Bob. Uh, it remember that you did 1-1 us, but we also 2-0'd you. So
The only team to 2-0 us. You're right.
so yep,
Mm. I'm ready. Let's go, Ganween.
it's on.
And
All right.
all you people who owe me money, get me my money.
What?
Still Animal
It's
Crossing.
the Tom Nook coming
The
out.
Tom
Well,
Nook.
it was a great series. Congratulations to Little Game and Heroes of the Storm for participating, and thank you all for watching. This has been the PMA LCS. I have been Neil the Steel Warner. Thank you to Ganween, Stuart Aaron for streaming, and for Alex Packer Diehard 12 Hagenbach for joining me.
And
With that, we will
what's the sound? Bois.
Wow.
like a
Bois.
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 Before we go, I kind of want to say a goodbye. Goodbye to the from the team. So it was fun. It was a fun round. I'm always happy to be part of PMALCS. And good luck to literally team name. I hope you guys win.
Appreciate it. GG.
GG's all. Good night,
I
everyone.
hope they don't win, because Blog's gonna win. Okay.